Hey folks, so this week I showed you how to do a step sequencer in Max, and I wanted to complement that with perhaps a streamlined version of that sequencer that we did in class. One that involves far less boxes or Max objects, but on the other hand involves you knowing how to work with lists, which is arguably a skill you would want to learn early on. So let me open here Max and show you what the problem really is. The problem is that if you have a make note object, so make note object, let's say velocity 100 and duration 200, and let's put this through a note out and channel 10 because we want, I don't know, drum sounds. And let's hook these up. And I think the GM, the General MIDI drum kit, starts at note 32 or 31, something like that. No, that's not what I want. No, wrong. I want to press I for integer. All right, good. So at around, say, what, 31 or 32. Oh, even before that, okay. Okay, so 32 is our first bass drum here, I think. All right, so the problem is we can, let's pass this, I want to make a chord, so let's pass this through channel 1. If I give it a message, say 60, a C major chord, 60, 64, and 67, I can sand this whole chunk here and get a C major chord. However, the way we were doing our step sequencer involved using a matrix control object, which I will want to have perhaps, yeah, 8x4 should be fine. I want to auto resize this, maybe not, I don't know. Anyway, so the thing is, we had the matrix control object only turning things on and off in a subpatcher that was very complicated. Not difficult, but tedious to make. And certainly not very practical to adjust. I mean, you need to go in there and change, if you want to have different notes and different instruments and things like that, it was kind of a pain to do it. There's a feature, though, in the matrix control object, which is if I don't know, select things here, let's say I want something like this, right? And then I think I need, perhaps, I think this comes as a list. So I might need to unpack this if I want to see individual events happening, but you see you get, I think, column row or row column and the argument. And the argument is only 0 or 1. Okay, so in this case, this is what? 0, 1, 2. So column 2, row 0, 1, and on and off. Okay. However, and there's there's a feature here in this object which is you can send it a message with the argument get column or get row. In this case, we're interested in columns because the columns are going to be, our time events, and the number of rows is going to denote our polyphony. So let's say get column, I don't know, 7, and let's put another message in here to see what it does. So it's gonna, when you say get column and give it a number, it's gonna dump. So it's gonna dump a list that contains 1, 0, 0, 0, which is exactly this. If I change this to this, it's gonna give us 0, 1, 0, 0, right? So you guessed it, at regular intervals, we can send a get column with an argument of a number to get, all these chords out of the matrix control object without having to resort to anything else than matrix control and a make note. And we can send these lists to make note and have the chords realized by our MIDI synthesizer. However, it's not so simple. The reason why is that if you remember when I had here 60, 64, let's C minor this time, 63 and 67, C minor because we're sad right now, all right? And remember that here we had this thing separated by commas, and here we don't. This is going to become a problem because if I remove the commas, make note's not going to be our friend anymore. All right, so this is the problem here. All right. I only get the C. So how do we fix this? We need to be able to work with lists. But before we do that, so this first outlet here in matrix control only changes when we change something here. So no, we don't want to do that. We actually want to use this outlet here. I'm going to show you how to pass this argument dynamically. So there's something here that you can send to any message, which is this argument here, $1. So this means that the message here is going to wait for something that is going to be passed through the first inlet. That's what dollar means, inlet, and then 1, the first one. So if I put numbers here, right, I can, let me first disconnect this. I can leave it connected, but let me show you what happens here with another message. Very important, Macs always know what objects are doing. So this is gonna receive get column 0, get column 1, get column 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's now, when you look at the output of the matrix control now, this is changing dynamically. So all we need to do, obviously there's no column 32, 33. So all we need to do is send send bangs here, or perhaps here with numbers at regular intervals. Now we know how to do that. So we do this with the metro, and I'm giving it a 250 argument. Need a toggle there to turn it on and off, and we're also going to use our little friend counter 7. Right. So this is going to output numbers regularly at exactly 4 times per second from 0 to 7 and then back again. So now when we pass this to our get column there, we're going to see these chords building up here. Okay, so let me show you how this works. So dun, 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 so dun. Okay, so this is what we wanted. Now we just want a way of putting commas in between the numbers here, right? So this is not actually, this is going to involve working with lists in Max, and it's not going to be so simple. It's not hard, but it's not simple either. So I'm going to show you how to do it right now. So the first thing we're going to use in Max, whenever you want to work with lists and you're not working in jitter, your best friend is the family of objects called ZL. So let me show you what they do. ZL, perhaps just ZL should be fine. There are a number of them. Okay. Compare, change, delays. At your own time, you can read this reference here and find out what they do to lists. Right now, I want to use this first guy here called iter. So as you've guessed, it's going to iterate through the list. And so what does this mean? It means it's going to output other lists at a length that we specify. So if I put iter 3, iter 3, it's going to output lists of 3. But in fact, we're not going to use it. We're going to use it iter 1 because I want to separate each. So it's going to send 8 lists here, each list with 4 elements, and I want it to separate it, right? And then I'm going to combine it back again. But before I combine it, I want to do something to this list, which is, you've guessed, I want to put commas in between. Now, there are several things here that go wrong, and we have to fix them as we do it. The first thing I'm going to do is pass this parsed list to an object called append, right? And I'm going to put a comma in there, right? So when I do exactly this, and I put a message object to see what's going on here, I could also print this thing, but no need. Then I'm going to get, let's say, if I get, the problem is that now this append here is sending each of these 4, that should have been simultaneous events separately, and and adding a comma to it. So I can do something like this, and you see that thing's going to start moving probably. I don't know. Yeah, there's something wrong here. Oh yeah, there you go. So we're seeing just the last one of them, right? But trust me, they are there. We only need to bring them together again. Okay. Okay, good. So the next thing that we need to bring them together again is another object that deals with lists called ZL, but this time it's going to be called ZL group. And ZL is going to take all these things and collapse them into a list. All right, yes. Problem is that I know what's going on here. There's something I forgot, which is group needs a bank. All right, to output stuff. Otherwise, it's just not going to do it. Okay, so we need a bang here. All right, so in order to give group a bang, we need another object here in between called a trigger. Don't worry about it. This is all going to be fixed. So we actually, trigger is an interesting object. I'm not going to go over too much detail about trigger right now. It just, sends things at the time that you want things to be sent. Okay. So Max works from right to left. So we first give T for trigger, and we first give trigger the last thing that we want, and then we go in reverse order up to the first thing that we want. So I want trigger to last of all send a bang, and first of all pass a list. Okay, so B for bang, L for list. So what I'm going to do here is pass the output of this. So trigger is going to take the list, pass the list, okay, through the second outlet to iter. And then after it's passed the list, it's going to send a bang to group. Okay, now we get what we want. Okay, easy peasy. I think I'm going to stop this video now, and then I'm going to do another video to continue this thing. All right, see you in a bit.